What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. It is time for my Game Week 8 team selection and to finally decide if I'm going to play my wildcard. What is up, everyone? FPL Harry here and welcome back to another video. Today it is Game Week 8 team selection. So earlier in the week we had confirmation that Game Week 8 would of course be going ahead, and that is great to hear. So today we'll be looking at my Game Week 8 team selection, transfers I'm making, and talk a little bit about whether I'm potentially going to play my wildcard this week. Of course, like everyone, I got 0 points this week. It gave me a very small green arrow from 115k up to 112k because of the other managers that probably took -4s this week or made more transfers than me so far this season. So nothing really to report. Let's quickly move on to some potential transfers that I'm going to make going into next week. So I have already actually confirmed one transfer. I have sold Sanchez, who of course Brighton have a blank game week, and then after game week 8 they have a difficult run of fixtures as well. And I brought in Nick Pope, who has a good fixture this week at home to Bournemouth, plus has a nice fixture run between now and about the World Cup game week 16. They rank very high up on the fixture tickers that I look at and the ones that I'm sure you're looking at as well. I knew that I was going to make this transfer whether I wildcarded or not, and Nick Pope predicted a rise in price as well during the week, was why I decided to make that move. I haven't officially confirmed that I'm not going to play my wildcard, but I think I'm about 75-80% sure now that I'm not going to play my wildcard. When we get to my team at the end of the video, you'll probably see why I don't necessarily think it's needed to be done this week. So I have already made one of my 2 free transfers. This now leaves me just 0.8 million in the bank and 1 free transfer because I did that upgrade. And let's have a look, because I am going to use my second free transfer because I don't have 11 players that I can put out quite yet. I need to use my second transfer on that. The second free transfer is going to be a midfielder. In my midfield, I have Salah, I have Gross, and I have Harrison, all without a fixture. Gross particularly is the one I'm looking at. Again, as I said with Sanchez and the reason I sold him, if you look at their fixtures over the short term in particular, they are not great. Blank, Liverpool, Tottenham, then they also have Manchester City in their next 6 as well. Only 2 games I really would expect Brighton to get something from in their next 6. Plus, with new management, a little bit of unrest. We don't know exactly where Gross is going to play. He's a player that has done very well recently in the Potter system, but previously he's not been really focal to Brighton, and it's very possible under a new manager that goes back to being the case. So I am probably going to end up selling Gross either this week or potentially next week as well. In terms of those replacements, Leon Bailey, again, I've spoken a lot about him, but I don't see why he can't be a good option at 4.7 million. I could downgrade him. I'd take about 1.3 million and just put that in the bank and have that potentially to use on transfers in future weeks as well. Then, of course, the one that we're really looking at is St. Maximin. Now, I need to wait on fitness. At time recording, I do not know whether St. Maximin is going to be back fit and available for Game Week 8. If he is back fit, I'm pretty certain that Pascal Gross to St. Maximin will be my transfer. Their run of fixtures are really nice, as I said, with Pope. Great fixture this week as well at home to Bournemouth. It would mean that I have triple Newcastle this week, with Trippier already in my team with Pope and then with St. Maximin as well. I don't necessarily think that's that great tripling up on Newcastle, but they've looked really good and they now have a really nice run of fixtures, so I don't really think I should be put off by that. And then the final one we've got in here is Gordon. I've struggled to really find a third midfielder that I was really going to look at. Everton's fixture run is okay. He's been quite important to what they do. If there are any other of those cheap midfielders that you're considering as well, I wouldn't have any more money. I could go up to Rashford, but of course he doesn't play this week. If there's anyone else that I should consider that I'm completely missing, drop it in the comment section and I'll get to it definitely. And then the other potential transfer that I'm considering is selling Mo Salah. Now, he did score in the Champions League midweek. Maybe he's back on form, but we all can agree that him starting the season has not been the Salah that we know, and it's not been the Liverpool that we know from an FPL and love from an FPL perspective so far this season. So at 13 or 12.9 million now, he's got to be on our radars that we can sell. If you are enjoying the video, please make sure to smash that like button. We're chasing 1,000 likes on this video. Thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed already as well. But Salah, again, I could sell him and go to De Bruyne. It was De Bruyne or Son, but that Spurs performance in the Champions League was enough to completely put me off going for any of those Spurs attackers, and particularly Son. Kane has performed well so far this season, so maybe he can be let off by one bad performance, but Son has not done it so far this season, and I'm not going to go buying him over De Bruyne. De Bruyne could definitely do well, but it does sound like there's a chance that they could have a Manchester City versus Arsenal blank game week in game week 12, because the Arsenal Europa League fixture that was cancelled on Thursday evening looks to be moving to that midweek where there are game week 12 fixtures. So that could mean that maybe Manchester City assets are not that popular, but I might be wildcarding by that time if I'm not going to play that this week. They do have a good fixture against Wolves this week, where Kevin De Bruyne did very well last year, for anyone who remembers, so he's probably the premium I would go with. However, I could completely just downgrade to a cheaper option, and there are two that I'm really looking at: Maddison and Bowen. Now, these are the two that I spoke out in my wildcard video that I produced earlier in the week. If you haven't checked that out already, click the link above and make sure you go and do so. But I like them both as those mid-priced options. It would free up an absolute ton of money that I could then invest potentially in Harrison next week, upgrading one of my defenders to get Reece James back in my team, for example. It would allow me a lot more flexibility in my squad if I was to go for either Bowen or for Maddison. Now, Bowen has a much better fixture this week against Everton, but from next week, the Leicester fixtures are much better, and I would probably trust Maddison long term, but it is that fixture this week that I much prefer Bowen for. So I could sell Salah. De Bruyne, Maddison and Bowen are the ones that I'm really looking at getting, but let's have a look at how I plan on actually lining up and that second predicted transfer. So game week 8 lineup, let's get into it. So as I said earlier, I'm about 80% sure I will not be playing my wildcard in my Game Week 8 team. So if you don't hear anything more from me, if you don't join my deadline stream going into the deadline on Friday evening, again, remember it's a Friday evening deadline. If you don't hear from me, I'm not going to be playing my wildcard. In goal, we're going to start Nick Pope. I didn't want to play Ward, which is part of the reason I brought Nick Pope in already. Ward has a difficult fixture against Tottenham, so I'm happy with Pope in that fixture at home to Bournemouth. Then I'm starting a 4-man defence, partly because I have no choice in the matter. We have got Saliba, not a player that I'm particularly happy with. He is playing Brentford away. I do expect Arsenal to score, but I just need to put out 11 players. I am looking to sell Saliba over the next couple of weeks, but of course, because he has a fixture, I can't necessarily go and sell him this week. Then the two in the middle are the two that we're very happy with. Cancelo, again, Manchester City, looking like they'll keep clean sheets for fun at the moment. And then we got Trippier as well, Bournemouth at home alongside Pope. It is a good fixture. Bournemouth have actually been surprisingly good so far this season, so I'm not necessarily that confident, but you've got to be hopeful with a Bournemouth at home fixture that Pope and Trippier can get something out of this fixture. And then finally we got Patterson, again, partly because I just need to go and get 11 players out this week. Patterson on my bench does have a good fixture this week at home to West Ham. West Ham, I have spoken about potentially getting Bowen. Patterson in my starting 11 might put me off going and getting Bowen this week. Into midfield, so this is where I'm predicted to use my second transfer, and I think I'm going to sell Mo Salah despite the goal in the Champions League. Now this transfer is not confirmed. I haven't made it yet. I'll be waiting probably until my deadline stream to make this transfer, but I am predicting that I'm going to go and get Kevin De Bruyne for those Manchester City short-term fixtures. I can then potentially move back to Salah if I wanted to, if he started to get back to form, so I like having that second premium option for captaincy. My only concern is having two premiums from the same team is a little bit of a worry. It does mean you have a lot of risk in that Manchester City team. Now they are the best team in the league, but if they don't perform, basically guarantees me a red arrow. Then, of course, we have Martinelli in here against Brentford. Hopefully he can get something in here. He has looked good. Apparently he was going to get a rest last in game week 7, but he has had that time off, so I think he should be fine to start this fixture as well. And then we've got Pereira. I don't have Mitrovic, of course, in my team, so I'm hoping that Fulham stay quiet, but I'm happy for him to start. A good fixture for them against Nottingham Forest as well on Friday night deadline as well for you all. Hopefully something from him as well. He is that cheap enabler that I've got. Very happy that he's in my team as well. And then up front, it is the same front three. We've got Tony, we've got Haaland, and we have got Jesus as well. So a lot of people selling Jesus. Hopefully he can get something in this game, and he's likely to be my vice captain this week. And Tony against Arsenal. Now Tony does play against Saliba. I'd rather Tony get something probably, but I'm not that hopeful for anything for Saliba. So hopefully Tony can get in on the action like he was in game week 6 as well. And then leading the line is Erling Haaland of Manchester City, the main premium, the main man at the moment. He will be in my game week 8 captain. There is no doubt about that. No matter what happens later in the week, unless we get confirmed news that he's going to be out injured for something like that. Don't worry, there's no news of that anything at the moment. He's going to be my game week 8 captain, and this is going to be my game week 8 team. So I've used 2 free transfers, or I'm planning on using my second transfer on Salah to De Bruyne, and I don't really think this team needs a wildcard. My only concern is we only have until game week 16 to actually play that first wildcard. Am I wasting it by saving it? Let me know if you would wildcard this team in the comment section down below. Are you planning on wildcarding yourself as well? Drop any questions about your team going into game week 8 in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, already, make sure to smash that like button, aiming for 1,000 likes on the video. Help me out, help me get there. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Good luck in Game Week 8. There will be a deadline stream on Friday evening to answer your final questions, your final wildcard thoughts going into the week. Good luck in Game Week 8 if I don't see you before then, and I'll be back again very soon.